Turn it up. It's the Team Supernova podcast.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Team Supernova podcast. I am Tebow, joined once again by my co-host, Darn.
Yep, that's me.
And happy 2023, everybody. I'm sure you've noticed, we took a quick break for the holiday, had a couple things going on, but we are back and better than ever. And what better way to kick off 2023 than to have some reflection on 2022 and all of the awesome flavors that Mountain Dew brought us.
Yep, and I hope everyone has been enjoying Pitch Black, which has been rolling out slowly over the United States and Canada recently, which is which has been a rare but increasingly common Canadian Mountain Dew W right there, if I do say so myself.
Yes.
Speaking of Pitch Black, I am going to do what I am going to drink throughout the episode is going to make a lot of you cringe. I am going to mix Pitch Black with Flamin Hot. This is the first time I've done this, but I want to make it a tradition where every time I'm drinking something new on the podcast, I got to mix it with Flamin Hot. So here we go. First of all, the color looks like cola. It just looks like cola straight up. Although browner. It doesn't look as dark as cola, but it's like a similar shade as cola, just lighter. Huh. What's weird is that it just tastes like Pitch Black and Flamin' Hot separately.
Really interesting.
But together. Like, I could taste them, but like separately. They're not mixing at all. They're just like separate.
Huh.
Weird. It's weird.
And I am, for the duration of this episode, will be drinking Flamin' Hot mixed with Overdrive.
Yep.
Ooh, and I've got to say that is tasty. This does actually blend really well.
Oh, I'd imagine actually. Overdrive is like a very sugary Mountain Dew, and Flamin' Hot is as well. So that would definitely work, I'd say.
And you know what? Darn, I know you like basically all Flaming Hot mixes, but I think you would really like this because there's a little bit of heat on the aftertaste, but I think mainly what Flaming Hot has done for Overdrive is it just enhances the lime flavor, which is really what I wanted from Overdrive to begin with, was a strong lime flavor.
Oh, that does sound really good. I'll definitely have to try that at some point.
That is tasty.
This episode, we're basically just going to be discussing what happened last year as a retrospective, and we're just going to like give our thoughts on everything that's happened throughout the year.
Yep.
All right, let's get started with January. In January, we saw Spark, which was a former Speedway exclusive.
Right.
It was, what years was it again? 2020, 2021, right?
Yes. Yep.
Yeah. And it was really popular. It sold really well during its Speedway runs. And then they just released it as the January permanent release for the year, which I think is a great move.
I agree.
Spark is just a really good Mountain Dew flavor. I love Spark to death. And it not only released in the United States, but Canada as well.
Yeah, didn't it come in Canada? Wasn't it only like a month or two later than when it hit the United States?
It was more like late January.
Okay.
It was in early January in the United States. It was late January in Canada.
Gotcha. I will say about Spark, I feel like Spark gets a lot of hate now, at least, and I don't understand it.
Yeah.
The biggest thing that I can think of, and people talk about a lot in the Dew Drinker Discord, It just makes me wonder if it's one of those things that people liked it more when it was a rare flavor and it was exclusive and harder to find at Speedway. And then now that it's easier to find, people don't like it as much, you know?
Yeah. Well, I feel like part of it is also just like because like it was known as a raspberry lemonade.
Yeah.
So if you were gonna go out of your way for it, you'd already have a pretty good idea that like you're gonna like it. You already like lemonade.
Right.
I feel like a lot of the people who complain about Spark mainly complain about it being sour. So I think that's just a skill issue, honestly.
Yeah. The one thing I will say about Spark, I love it to death as well. It's a great flavor. It's very, I don't know if I want to call it unique, but I'm going to. It mixes really well. The biggest thing with me and Spark is I drank it way too much when it came out and I burnt out of it pretty hard. So now I don't really drink it as much anymore.
Yeah, honestly, same here. Although I think I still have a lot of that love for it left in me, but so
Yeah,
I've been slowing down, but I kind of felt that it was not being as good every time I had it. So I've slowed down on that.
definitely.
Up next, we have Energy Cherry Lime Lift, which also released in January. Actually, it released in January when the Energy lineup became the Energy lineup.
Right.
That's because there was a lawsuit from Rise Brewing Company, who makes like canned coffees. That the can has like big lettering that says Rise on it, and so did the Mountain Dew energy drinks. So they sued them and won. So as a result, they had to change the name, and they just changed it to Energy, which is a very simple name.
You know what the funniest thing about that is? In the last 6 months, the court has reversed that ruling, and Pepsi actually ended up winning that lawsuit, but they haven't gone back to Rise. They've just stuck with Mountain Dew Energy. And I wonder if it's because of all the effort they put into changing it.
Honestly, probably because uh, they've grown more, I think,
Yeah,
as Energy,
then
especially
Rise.
because they've been doing all the LTOs. Because they got Baja
Yes.
Blast, Code Red, and now they're releasing Pitch Black.
Yep. So
So
back to Cherry Lime Lift. What are your thoughts on that one?
it's okay. I hear a lot of praise for it, not a lot of hate actually, although some people resent it for replacing uh Berry Blitz,
Yep.
which was uh a pretty popular energy flavor, I think, in like the Mountain Dew community. Although not that popular to the general public, I guess, because they discontinued it.
Right.
Uh,
Yeah, I've got to say I'm not really a fan of Cherry Lime Lift. I didn't hate it, but anytime I try a flavor for the first time, I have a rule that I will try it at least twice just to make sure, I give it completely fair judgment. And for me, Cherry Lime Lift was a try twice and done type situation for me.
uh,
I heard someone compare it to citrus cherry game fuel, and I've got to say I disagree with that.
yeah, I disagree as well. As a citrus cherry hater, I dislike cherry lime lift for different reasons. Mostly because it has the L word in it, and it isn't lime forward that much at all.
Yeah, I yeah.
It is very similar to another energy flavor that we'll talk about later. Speaking of, there's also Code Red Zero Sugar, which released in January.
That's right, it did.
It
I forgot
Yeah.
about that.
Yep, because you can't find it.
That's right, I
Because
can't.
Diet Code Red uh over time just like started not being in as many places. It just started being phased out. Now it's only in like a small handful of states. And then when Code Red Zero Sugar came along, they didn't change the amount of states that it's in.
I know at one point we had thought that there was going to be a national release for Code Red Zero Sugar. I think one of our sources gave us a date, but that date came and
Yeah.
went, and
It was going to be in March.
that okay, yeah, that sounds right. And just that came and went, and no sign of Code Red Zero Sugar outside of it.
Yeah.
Where I'm at in Colorado, I asked some of the Pepsi guys, which varying success there. But basically, the consensus I was hearing out here is that Colorado will never have Code Red Zero Sugar. So that's cool.
Have you ever had it?
I haven't.
Because I actually have.
You have?
Yeah. And I gotta say, as someone who really, really likes Code Red, it's disappointing.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, I hear a lot of praise for it, but also like a lot of the people that praise it don't love Code Red the way I do. It's just different in a way that I don't like it. It's just not as syrupy. It's not as candy like. It doesn't have that candy Code Red taste that I love.
So would you say like it's good as a zero sugar, but not good as a Code Red variant?
Yeah, it's all right. Although I prefer other zero sugars like Major Melon or just original.
Yeah, I know it's not a 2020 flavor, but Major Melon or 2022. Jeez, Major Melon Zero Sugar is probably my favorite.
Oh yeah,
Zero
absolutely.
sugar.
It's my favorite as well. Oh, we forgot to mention Spark Zero Sugar
We
released
did.
as well.
Yeah, we completely glossed over that. I'm a fan of Spark Zero Sugar. That's another really solid zero flavor.
I like it, but honestly, I think it's a bit overrated.
Really?
Yeah. Although I guess a zero sugar being overrated is kind of an oxymoron.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Alrighty. What's after
After that, we move on to February, where only one thing of note happened. Hard Mountain Dew.
Hard Mountain Dew? That actually it came out on my birthday in 2022. February 22nd, 2022. In 3 states.
Yep. 3 states. I forgot the states. One of them was Florida. One of them was Tennessee.
Iowa? It was Iowa.
Yeah.
And
on our doc, I don't have any of the states for any of the Hard Mountain Dew rollouts, so we're not going to mention them.
I know there's like 10 that it's out in, and one of the most recent ones is Virginia. But yeah, I couldn't tell you off the top of my head what the releases are. They're pretty much all in the east, on the east side of the country,
except for Las Vegas.
Yeah,
Is there just the city of Las Vegas, not Nevada, not in the state of Nevada, just Las Vegas. Yeah, they released 4 flavors: original, black cherry, watermelon, and Baja Blast. I have not tried them because I'm a minor in the United States. Well, I'm an adult in the United States, but I'm not allowed to drink. I am in between the age of adulthood and the age of drinking.
In the United States.
In the United States, not in my country of Canada.
So I have tried them multiple times. I have got to say, there's a lot of people that I think just automatically discount Hard Mountain Dew because it is zero sugar. And I don't think that you should do that. There's a lot of people even that just assumed, particularly before the product released, there was a bunch of rumors going around that it was going to be a hard seltzer, which isn't the case. They confirmed that it wasn't a seltzer.
People still call it a seltzer.
Yes. I've seen grocery stores label it as a seltzer, which is just funny. I would say it's more like a, and these will be different, I'm sure, than they are for you in Canada, Darn. But I would say they're more like a Mike's Hard or a Seagram's wine cooler than a hard seltzer.
Well, at least I know that they're a flavored malt beverage, which means that
Yes.
they are like malt as in like beer. They're in the same process as beer, something like that.
Definitely more beer adjacent than seltzer adjacent. Now, in terms
Yeah.
of the actual flavors, I have got to say, and it surprised me, hard watermelon was my favorite. And I expected to hate that one because
Mm.
I'm not huge on Major Melon, but it was really good. I think I like it more than Major Melon and Major Melon Zero Sugar both. That
Wow.
one stunned me. That one is really good. So that was my favorite. Baja Blast comes in second. It's Baja Blast.
Yeah.
Definitely tastes like a Baja Blast Zero Sugar, but that one's really good too. The other two, original doesn't taste as much like Zero Sugar Mountain Dew as I was hoping. It's okay, but it's not great. And I'm biased negatively against black cherry because I don't like black cherry things in general, like Soda Shop, Pepsi, black cherry.
Oh, that one is
Disgusting.
horrible.
And I don't like hard Mountain Dew black cherry for the same reason I don't like Pepsi Soda Shop black cherry. It just tastes so medicinal.
Mm.
Ugh. But I've got to say, as a whole, they're awesome. I think they have 5%. Yeah, 5% alcohol. You can get it in a variety pack or the tall cans. And there's, I guess we don't want to get too far into what's coming in 2023, but there is some exciting things coming for Hard Mountain Dew. Biggest thing with that is just remember they are doing their best at expanding to more states. Just
Yeah.
it takes a lot of time because the biggest thing with it is that Boston Beer is not the company that is distributing the product. It's a collaboration between Boston Beer and Blue Cloud Distribution. So as a result of that, there's a bunch of processes and permits and equipment they have to buy and staff to train. There's a lot of wheels that have to turn in the background in each individual state that they want to sell in.
Yeah. Because Blue Cloud is actually a brand new company.
Yes.
So they have to basically start from scratch in every single state. Just something to keep in mind.
So it's not that they aren't working to be in every state. They have said that ultimately Hard Mountain Dew will be available in every state. It's just going to take some time to get that initial rollout. The good news is once that is done, when they go to drop other exciting new flavors, it'll just be able to drop right away.
Yeah, for sure.
All right. So that was the
Uh,
only February product, right?
Yeah. For March, we got Maui Burst. It got a 20-ounce bottled version instead of 16-ounce. They've been
That's
discontinued.
right.
Well, the cans anyway. They still have the 6-packs as far as I know, but they've been getting harder to find.
I think I said this in one of the first episodes, so I won't linger on it too much, but I'm gonna be honest, Maui Burst is just an incredibly forgettable flavor for me.
Yeah.
I
I
don't
think I mentioned as
hate
well
it.
how much I don't care for it.
Yeah, like I don't hate it. If someone was like, "Yo, I got a Maui Burst, do you want one?" I'd drink it, but
Yeah.
in general, I don't really go to Dollar General that much. I know it's like one of those places that is hyped up to be like a good spot to look for Mountain Dew, but I've just never really had any success at it, nor do I like going to Dollar General. So I just don't really find myself getting Maui very often.
Yeah. But a lot of people are disappointed that the 16-ounce cans have been discontinued for the 20-ounce bottles.
Yeah.
In terms of like the bottle versus can debate, which we will make an episode on eventually.
Yes.
I think most people lean on the can side of things, and especially for 16-ounce cans, those are really popular.
It did have a very nice design in the 16-ounce cans.
That is true. Speaking of store exclusives, how about Legend?
Ooh.
So
Exclusive
Legend is the
Buffalo
Buffalo
Wild
Wild Wings exclusive blackberry lime flavor.
Wings. Not
What are
pitch
your
black.
thoughts on it? Oh, oh yeah, it is black colored, but it's not pitch black.
I just remember back when that came out, whoever it was that wrote that article and said Buffalo Wild Wings new exclusive flavor is pitch black. Like, thank you for starting
Yeah.
tons and tons of false rumors.
Thank you for ruining the Mountain Dew community. You single-handedly ruined the Mountain Dew community. Thank you.
That was that was so awful for like 2 weeks.
Yeah.
So
Even longer when April rolled around. I'll just
oh
say
yeah.
that.
Yeah, because now that I'm thinking about it, Legend was kind of weird because it didn't drop all at once, right? It kind of
yeah.
rolled out to different Buffalo Wild Wings over the course of like I think almost 2 months, right?
I thought it was like 4 months, but
I
either
know it
way,
took a
a
while
long
to
time.
roll out.
Yeah. It was one
So
of the longer rollouts.
yes, have you tried Legend?
I have. I think it was a little watered down when I tried it though, but it was all right.
Unfortunately for me, I have tried it, but the only times that I've tried it have been times that I have door dashed it.
Uh,
So I think for me it was also watered down. So I don't want to be too critical of it. I liked it for what it was, and I think if it wouldn't have been watered down, I would have enjoyed it more. I
yeah.
know it's insanely popular. A lot of people really like it.
Oh yeah, for sure. It is one of the more popular releases of this year.
And I definitely do want to get in sometime and try the Long Island Legend. I'm sure that's really tasty as well.
Yeah. I noticed the aftertaste kind of reminds me of Pepsi Blue, like
Really?
kind of the blackberry aftertaste.
Hmm.
I think Pepsi Blue has blackberry. I'm not sure. Or had because it discontinued.
Right.
Speaking of fountain exclusives, the last one for March is a very sad one because Speedway exclusive Cyclone was replaced by Major Melon on Fountain.
That's right. I almost forgot about that.
Yeah,
So what were your did you ever try Cyclone?
I did not.
Funny enough, I actually have a bottle of Cyclone bottled from the fountain in my fridge right now.
Oh, really?
I don't I completely forgot about that. I wasn't even going to mention it during the podcast, but yeah, I do. I'm curious if it has carbonation or not. But
Hmm.
I I know a lot of people really liked Cyclone,
Yeah.
but for me, I was never a fan of it.
It was one of those things where you either love it or you hate it. And there was a lot of people on both sides.
Yes.
Uh,
There was a lot of people that said it was renamed Sangrita Blast, but I personally do not agree with that. I think that there is a difference between Sangrita Blast. I enjoyed Sangrita Blast, but something about Cyclone just is not the same to me.
hmm, that's unfortunate.
Yeah. It's always sad though to see a flavor go away, regardless of my own personal thoughts about it. It's particularly for a flavor that already exists in so many other form factors already.
Yeah.
Not to mention, have you had Fountain Major Melon?
I actually have. I thought it was great.
Really?
Although it was in a weird fountain. I was at a random ass Circle K in some random ass town, and I I put my cup under the Pepsi Blue dispenser,
Hmm.
and it shot out a pink liquid that I did not know what it was. I wasn't sure if it was Major Melon. It didn't actually occur to me that it was Major Melon because I didn't think there was fountain Major Melon in Canada. But I tried it, and it was the best Major Melon I've ever had. I don't know how that happened.
Interesting. That makes me curious if I don't know if I've ever had Canadian Major Melon. Um, but I just remember when I had Fountain Major Melon, I tried it by itself, and I also tried mixing it with Goji Citrus Strawberry just to see how that would be. And it is just so overpowering. Like I did a mix of 75% Goji and 25% Major Melon, and it overpowered the Goji. Like all I could taste was Major Melon. It is so overpowering, and I hated it.
That's surprising because of how strong Goji is.
Yeah, like I was shocked.
Yeah. Anyway, the next release in April was Championship Citrus Cherry Game Fuel.
Did you get your hands on some Championship Citrus Cherry?
In fact, I still have some because
Do
I
you?
have a hard time finishing it.
So do you hate it more or regular citrus cherry more, or are they about on the same, or I guess half diet citrus cherry, or are they about on the same level of hatred for you?
Honestly, I think I like the Game Fuel slightly more just because it has like the grape juice, which helps a little bit.
You know, when we started getting the leaks about Championship Citrus Cherry, I went strongly on record, basically everywhere, telling people that it wouldn't be the same as the citrus cherry that everyone knew and loved just because the calorie content was so much lower, the ingredients list was different, and I was wrong.
Yep.
They managed to nail the flavor so well, but still by using the same makeup of their normal game fuel lineup. And I
Yeah.
don't know how they did it, but they did it well.
I
That
hear from a lot of people that that the amp game fuel was closer to the original game fuel than the half diet version.
interesting.
Well, at least that's what I hear.
I
I couldn't tell you because I haven't tried the original, nor do I plan to.
I don't hate half diet as much as some of the other people do. I know I say it a lot in the Discord, but where I lived in Ohio, there was a period of time, I think from maybe like 2014 to 2018 or 2019, that I had citrus cherry unbranded on the shelves year round in cans and bottles before and after the reformulation. And I didn't realize that they reformulated it until I saw people complaining online about it.
Yeah.
It tasted, I couldn't tell you at what point it changed just because it tasted the same to me.
I think people just have a taste for that sort of thing.
Yeah,
I guess it just
that's
affects you to different levels.
yeah. That's said. I did really enjoy that citrus cherry championship citrus cherry. Excuse me. I enjoyed it. I would say it is my favorite of the Amp Game Fuel lineup. But that being said, I've never tried the Courageous Sherbet one.
I
So
have. It was like a year ago. I thought it was all right.
I still need to see if I can find someone that has some of those for a reasonable price.
Yeah, makes sense. Uh, Purple Thunder.
Purple Thunder.
No. Circle K exclusive. First it released in fountain on April, and then in May it released in bottles.
I forgot that release was a little split up too.
Yeah.
And then in Canada over the summer, right? Limited time in Canada.
Yeah, it was specifically in June.
Okay.
We'll talk about the Purple Thunder thing later because it's important. Well, it's just special.
Right.
But we'll just talk about American Purple Thunder right now. Berry plum. Very odd sounding flavor combination,
Yes.
but somehow it is the most popular flavor that is released this year by far.
Oh yeah.
And Tebow, it's your favorite, right?
It was hands down my favorite flavor of 2022. In the Do Drinker Discord server, we ran a poll just to see what people's favorite flavors of 2022 were, and I believe it won by a large margin, didn't it?
Yep. I don't have the specific margin, but I'm just gonna, yeah, it definitely was the winner.
Did you try both bottled and fountain, or did you just try bottled Purple Thunder?
Just bottled. It was good though. I really like it.
For me, it was everything I wanted in a plum flavored Mountain Dew and so much more than that.
Yeah, for sure.
This is not something I thought that I would ever say about a flavor before, but I think it's better in fountain than it is in bottles. That's not to discount the bottles at all because they're delicious, but if you have a freshly changed bib on the fountain machine,
bag and box,
man, Purple Thunder is so good on fountain, especially at Circle K. You can get the sip and save. For those of you who aren't aware of that, $5.99, I should say, will get you a month's worth of Polar Pops, one Polar Pop every single day. And that ends up being a really good deal if you get Polar Pops pretty often.
Doesn't that also include like coffees and frosters?
I think it does. I think you're right.
That's actually a pretty good deal because if you don't want to get diabetes, you can just drink coffee instead.
True.
Because you know how big those cups are.
Oh yeah. Giant.
Should not be drinking one of those a day. My junior high self could tell you that much.
This portion of the Team Supernova podcast is brought to you by no one, but it could be you. If you want to hear Darn and I talk about your brand or your product, let us know. Send us an email at teamsupernovafb@gmail.com. Once again, teamsupernovafb@gmail.com, and we can discuss the details. We'd love to talk about your products. Sponsor the Team Supernova podcast.
All right, so the last release for April is probably the most important release for April.
Oh, yeah.
Tebow, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Why don't you share with the class?
Flamin' Hot.
Flamin' Hot. Now, Flamin' Hot is a line of Frito-Lay products in which they make some of their chips Flamin' Hot. There's Flamin' Hot Cheetos, Flamin' Hot Doritos, Flamin' Hot Lay's, Flamin' Hot Ruffles. The whole gimmick is that they're hot.
Yes.
And then they wanted to transfer that to another item owned by PepsiCo. Why not release the very popular Flamin' Hot name onto a drink. So here we have Flamin' Hot Mountain Dew, which was actually released in 2021 on the Dew store, but they re-released it with an updated formula, which is less spicy but more lime forward.
Which, first and foremost, I just want to take a second to just praise. I'm holding the can right now and looking at it. I just got to take a moment to admire how absolutely beautiful the artwork of the Flaming Hot can is.
Oh, absolutely. They really went all out on everything to do with Flamin' Hot.
Yes. Yes,
like
they did.
The logo itself, like it's not just a recolored version of the Mountain Dew logo. They added shading to it.
And it's on fire.
And it's on fire. It's like how the pitch black logo is being sucked in by a black hole.
Yes.
But it's on fire. And there's like a lot of yellow, a lot of green. There's also a big old lime on there. Then there's Sparky, who's the mascot of Flamin' Hot.
God,
just in
Sparky.
General. There's a caution Flamin' Hot taste on it. Dew with a blast of heat and citrus flavor with other natural flavors.
You'll notice, though, that it says with a blast of heat and citrus and not dew with a blast of hot, spicy chips.
Or dew with a blast of Cheeto flavor.
Yeah.
Which is one thing that people complained about. People were like, oh, why did they release a Cheeto flavored Mountain Dew? No, they didn't. This isn't Cheeto flavored.
I just genuinely don't understand how anyone could drink it and get chip flavor from it, you know?
I mean, it was inspired by a line of chips, but that doesn't mean it's chip flavored. They're just taking the Flaming Hot idea and transferring it to a drink, and I think they did a pretty good job at it.
Yes, I agree with you wholeheartedly. In my opinion, if it wouldn't have been for Purple Thunder, Flamin' Hot would have unironically been my favorite flavor of 2022.
Yeah, it is really good. Well, I'm a sucker for lime, so.
And there's some good lime flavor in Flamin' Hot.
Absolutely.
So this does officially mark the third week that we have talked about how great Flamin' Hot is as a flavor.
Yep. Third week in a row. We're keeping the streak going, baby.
Absolutely incredible flavor. Massively overhated. I don't know. What's your stash of Flamin' Hot looking like?
I have like 2 sealed cases and then one that's like maybe 3/4 of a case.
Okay.
So 2.75 cases approximately.
I think I've got about 5 or 6 bottles, and then I have 20 cases sealed.
Wow.
I am fully prepared to mix Flaming Hot with every single flavor that comes out for the next 10 years.
Actually, I do have a few bottles. In fact, the bottle that I'm holding right now is a bottle. But I prefer the cans, but I'm just using up my bottles. Because they're gonna start to taste gross soon.
Right.
And before people say, but it tastes gross anyway.
Wrong.
All right.
Just to throw it out there real quick. You know, I just was talking about it, but there has been some really good mixing combinations with Flaming Hot. We were talking about one, I think, last episode. Flaming Hot and Gingerbread Snapped is really good. Flamin' Hot and Mango Gem makes a pseudo mango heat. There are just so many combinations that you can mix Flamin' Hot with it, even if you don't like Flamin' Hot. I think it opens the door to some really interesting flavors.
Yeah. You get spicy voltage if you want.
Yeah.
Spicy anything.
Yeah.
You could pour it in milk, get Flaming Hot.
All right, you lost me.
I had to. I'm sorry. We're making a joke about last year. We had to.
True.
We had to bring it all in, get the vibe of last year. Um, so for May, there's actually not too much to say aside from like a citrus cherry discontinuation scare, which turned out not to be true.
Right.
But for those who don't know, there's only one bottling company in the United States that still makes citrus cherry, the half diet one, only in bottles,
Right.
Wispac. And like it's really hard to find, and the expiration date is approaching. Well, it was approaching in May, but then like there was another batch. The batch happened to be January 16, I believe.
Yeah.
Which is coming up. So that might be another discontinuation scare, question mark.
Because I know we had the dates in May, and then we had dates in August.
Oh yeah,
And
August.
I think we might have even seen November. No, we saw Halloween dates.
Yeah.
So
Halloween.
it's been one of those kind of weird things that it's just kind of been suspended in limbo. Like, is it alive? Is it not? Like, we don't really know what's going on with citrus cherry, and realistically, it could be discontinued at any point, and it'll just be gone. So the biggest thing I would say with citrus cherry is if you like it, get it while you can. If you live in the one state that sells it, and if you haven't tried it and you want to, get it while you still can.
Yeah. I say this as a citrus cherry hater. I think you should still try it while you can if you want to try it. I think it's worth trying stuff.
Yes.
Especially if it could be going away soon.
And something like that, who knows when and if it will come back.
Yep. January 16th is right around the corner. Just saying. Anyway, June is a big month. I'm just gonna say that. Because first thing that happened June, typhoon.
Oh yeah, Typhoon Tuesday on a Wednesday.
Yep. So Typhoon was from Democracy 2, I believe.
Yes.
Yeah. It was a tropical punch, but though in actuality it's pineapple strawberry.
Right.
And they released it on the Dew store for a limited time.
Interestingly enough, when Typhoon was out during Democracy, and it did come out again for Back by Popular Demand, exclusive to Walmart Supercenters. During those two releases, it was a lot more strawberry forward. It was more strawberry and less pineapple. And then for this Dew store release, it's kind of like they flopped them, and now it's more pineapple forward and less strawberry.
Yeah. I've never had the original Typhoon, but I did like the current Typhoon. I like it more than Baja Gold anyway, which we'll talk about in a bit.
But I liked it, but I also didn't feel like I needed to buy a bunch more of it, which Typhoon's Dew store drop had the $8 flat rate shipping that you could get 6 cases shipped to you for $8 shipping total.
Yeah.
I think I got 4 cases total, and I didn't feel like I needed more. I still have a sealed case of it. It was a nice little blast of nostalgia, but one of the things with Typhoon is, when it originally came out, it was very unique. I think it was the first tropical punch flavor of Mountain Dew, but it's how many of those do we have now?
I mean, like currently we have Overdrive. Last I mean, 2 years ago we had Baja Punch.
Right.
Uh,
Southern Shock.
oh yeah, Southern Shock.
It's I think I liked it more when it was strawberry forward instead of pineapple forward. And I think because it was so pineapple forward, I associated it a little bit with Maui, and I don't like Maui.
Hmm. That's one of the problems with the modern Dew lineup, especially in 2021. I mean 2022, was just how many pineapple flavors were there.
Yes.
Because there was like three of them coexisting at the
Yep.
same time, which was, and like they were all pineapple forward, like Typhoon pineapple forward, and then Baja Gold and Maui Burst were just pineapple flavored in
Yeah.
general as their primary flavor.
And that kind of leads us into the next release, right? Of June. Or
Yeah,
does it not?
Bajas.
Okay.
Or actually, there's more in June that I put in between, but we could just skip to Baja and go to the rest
Okay.
later. Bajas. So
Hmm.
every summer there's a Baja release. There's Baja Blast and Baja Blast Zero Sugar. And then there's also two new Baja spin-offs that come out. In 2021, we saw Baja Flash, which was Pina Colada, and Baja Punch, which was Fruit Punch, Tropical Punch, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
And then this year, we went from we went from Baja Flash Pineapple Coconut to Baja Gold Pineapple. And that's it, just pineapple.
Yep.
And then Mango Gem. Mango Gem was good. It was just mango.
Yeah, there was a lot of people that I have seen saying they liked Baja Punch more than Mango Gem. But I've got to disagree. I'm a little bit biased because mango is my favorite fruit.
Mm.
But part of why I think Mango Gem is better is going back to what we were just saying about tropical punch and how many different punch flavors we have. I don't know how unique that Baja Punch was compared to Mango Gem. That's only the second mango flavor we've ever had at the time. And I would still say no because I'm not counting Overdrive as a mango flavor.
Or
And
Peach Mango Dawn.
oh, right. I forgot about that one too. And Mango Heat was a totally different thing. So I
Yeah.
think Mango Gem is pretty unique, and I really liked Mango Gem.
Mm. I'd say honestly, I like Baja Punch and Mango Gem about equally, but that's not a
fair.
bad thing. They're both
Yeah.
really good.
Now, Baja Gold. mm,
Baja Gold. Um, I don't like the way Mountain Dew does pineapple. I'm just gonna be honest. At least
yeah.
like for pure pineapple. Like I think Monster White Pineapple is amazing. Uh and I'd rather drink that than any of the Mountain Dew pineapple offerings, Maui Burst or Baja Gold.
Have you ever had Fago pineapple?
I don't think I have actually.
That is good, and I think that puts Maui and Baja Gold to shame as well.
Hmm.
Fago nails the strictly pineapple soda flavor. But in terms of Baja Gold, I'm gonna make some people angry, but it's Maui Burst. Let's be honest. There is a slight difference. I'm not gonna try to argue and convince people that it's the same flavor. It is not the same flavor. However, I think the only way that I could differentiate them is if I was drinking them side by side.
Hmm. They're too similar that they both don't need to exist at the same time.
That, and I know I said that so many times during that release, just it is two different flavors, but they're similar enough. I don't know how they justified it.
Yeah.
And for that reason, because I am so petty with how I shape my tier list, Baja Gold went straight to F tier for me.
Hmm. I honestly rank them the same, but they're both not that great to me anyway, so they're pretty low just naturally.
Really just a disappointment. And even though I personally didn't like Baja Flash, I don't see why we couldn't have gotten Baja Flash again.
Or just like put another fruit with the pineapple.
Yeah, pineapple banana, like from the last episode we were talking about,
Oh yeah,
or pineapple kiwi, something.
yeah. Or just keep do another kiwi flavor.
Yeah.
Uproar is good. Do another one of those.
Yeah, like,
If there's one flavor you should copycat off of, it's not Maui. It should be Uproar.
Dollar General is everywhere. Food
Yeah.
Lion is not.
Exactly. But with the Baja release, there was also a new one that is going to be a reoccurring seasonal Baja Blast Energy. Tebow, how tell us how much you love Baja Blast Energy.
Baja Blast Energy is trying to remember what I said in the last episode because I don't want to contradict myself. Did I say it's my least favorite flavor of all time? I
I
think
don't
I
remember.
did.
I think you
did.
said something to that effect.
Because I couldn't remember if I put Cake Smash or Baja Blast Energy at the bottom of my list, but I'm pretty sure it's Baja Blast Energy. I
You
hate
put
it.
one
It
of the
sucks.
two.
It sucks. I hate it.
I actually quite like it.
Yeah, I knew we did not agree on Baja Blast Energy.
Yep.
It's part of it is definitely me being dramatic about it. It's not the worst thing in the world. I did finish it. I finished 2 of them, which is more than I can say about some other flavors at the bottom of my tier list. But it just doesn't taste like Baja Blast to me in the way that Hard Mountain Dew Baja Blast tastes like Baja Blast, or even Diet Baja Blast. That's a rare one. You can't
Yep.
even get that anymore. But even those two managed to keep the flavor of Baja Blast, and I felt like I didn't get that with Baja Blast Energy, and it was more that it disappointed me and less that I thought it was gross, if that makes sense.
Mm. Yeah, no, because I disagree. I quite liked it. It definitely has that Baja taste. At least what I associate with the Baja taste, it was
Yeah.
definitely there. And I actually prefer it to Baja Blast Zero Sugar in bottles and cans.
Hmm.
I think it's closer to the Taco Bell fountain version than the retail version. Probably because of the aspartame.
Probably.
Yeah. Because that's a key difference between the fountain version of Baja Zero and the retail version. Is that the retail version doesn't have aspartame, which is a very underrated sweetener. People, when they hear aspartame, they get very alarm bells in their head and stuff. But no, I think it's great.
I I think you're going to disagree with what I'm about to say here as well, which is fine.
Yeah.
But I don't mind aspartame in general in drinks. When I do mind aspartame is when it is in Mountain Dew Energy.
Hmm.
I it's not even that I think that I don't like it because of the aspartame being in it. I just don't understand. Like, I don't know any other energy drinks that use aspartame, you know?
Hmm.
And I could be wrong about that. There might be another one that does, but
Game Fuel Zero,
you got me.
which we will talk about later.
True.
But yeah, I guess that's respectable. I mean, there aren't really a lot of energy drinks that use aspartame. It's usually like erythritol, I think it's pronounced, and sucralose and ace-sulfame potassium.
Yes.
And instead of erythritol, Mountain Dew prefers to use aspartame. But
So what do we got next?
How about the
June?
Dew Outpost?
Ooh, I totally forgot about that.
Yeah. I mean, they didn't really release anything for the Dew Outpost. Well, except for like this year, but it was like an event that they did in Tennessee. Just like a big old hunting outpost sort of thing. They had like games and stuff. I never went there. I don't think you did either.
I did not, unfortunately.
I actually didn't hear too much about it, but the one thing that sticks out to everyone when we talk about Dew Outpost is, of course, the taste test.
Right. Do you have that list handy of the flavors?
I could look it up real quick. So the flavors are pickle, summer pop, s'mores, elderberry, apple cinnamon, and huckleberry. And what are your thoughts on them in theory?
In theory, I want the pickle flavor. I'm gonna be honest.
Yeah. I mean, we just praised Flamin Hot. I don't think it's that surprising.
I would love to take that pickle flavor and mix it with Flaming Hot. I'm not even kidding. That'd be awesome.
That might actually be really good. A spicy pickle flavored Mountain Dew
Yes.
with like the lime of Flamin Hot.
I'm sure there are so many people probably shaking their heads as they're listening to this, but I'm
They
being
are
serious.
literally-
Like, I'd love to do that.
They're literally SMHing their heads.
Outside of pickle, though, my thoughts, I would love to see apple cinnamon replace thrashed apple.
Oh yeah, for sure.
S'mores, I feel like could be very hit or miss.
Yeah. I mean, knowing Mountain Dew, I feel like they'd make a very good s'mores flavored Mountain Dew.
That's true. And, I got the Pepsi s'mores kit that they sent out, and I was impressed with that. And I expected to
That's
not
right.
like it.
I remember seeing you stream that.
Yeah. Twitch.tv/Team Supernova FB. But yeah, I was really surprised by that. I expected to not like it. And I think if Mountain Dew could capture that same essence in the way that Pepsi did, which there's no reason they couldn't.
They already have the flavor combination. They just have to replace the Pepsi with Mountain Dew.
Right. Elderberry, I know I saw a lot of people talking about, and I don't know how much of that is just that Mountain Dew Violet that was at FYE and in Japan that had elderberry in it. I don't know if it's just the association of that or being close to pitch black or something like that, but I think elderberry would probably interest me the least of all of the Outpost flavors. If I'm being honest. And that's not to say that I wouldn't be interested in it. I think the other ones just sound more appealing to me.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, Mountain Dew really does strive with a lot of berry flavors.
Yeah.
But like in terms of like when it's up against pickle, summer pop, s'mores,
even apple cinnamon.
Yeah, apple cinnamon too. Those just sound more interesting.
Like, don't get me wrong, I like a good safe flavor every once in a while. Like, I would call Baja Mango Gem a safe flavor. It's just mango. But for every safe flavor that Mountain Dew releases, I love seeing the weird and unique gimmick flavors. Give me that pickle. Give me the s'mores. We're getting summer pop.
We are getting summer pop, yes, because it is releasing in April as a summer freeze.
You just told me that you recently retried Fago Firework, didn't you?
That is correct, yeah. Because the first time I tried it, it was like before I really got into Spark.
Mm-hmm.
And it like the sound, the tartness of it like put me off. But I retried it and I think it is really good. And I really am more excited for Summer Freeze than I was before. I'll tell you that.
I just think that if In my head, when I see summer freeze and that it's the summer pop flavor, I can just taste like basically Mountain Dew's take on Fago Firework. And if that is what it ends up being, that's going to be so good.
Absolutely.
That could easily be best flavor of 23 potential right there. That's getting way ahead of ourselves, but I think that has potential to be really delicious.
For sure. Yeah.
Was that all Huckleberry.
Huckleberry is another one.
I think that kind of goes back to just what you were just saying about the berry flavors. Like it's another berry flavor, and I would try it if it was presented to me, but I think if I was to rank all of the outpost flavors 1 to 6 in what order I would like to try them, I think huckleberry and elderberry would be right at the bottom of the list.
And that's probably where I disagree with you.
Really?
Because when I was in Montana last fall, I went to this gas station that had a huckleberry syrup. I didn't mix it with Mountain Dew, but I mixed it with Pepsi.
Ooh.
It was so good. And if they put that in a Mountain Dew, it would probably be like a top 5 flavor for me. I'm not joking.
Ooh. Dang.
I don't know. I just really like berry flavored stuff.
I will say, just in terms of the outpost as a whole, I think it's too late for this. I think if they were going to do this, they would have done it already. But I would love for them to do a variety pack of all 6 flavors. That would be awesome. But at this point, Summer Freeze is releasing. I don't think we're getting that.
No.
Just give me the pickle flavor.
Yes. Please, we need the pickle flavor. We need to mix it with Flamin Hot.
Yes.
We're going to do that live on the podcast.
Mountain Dew, even if you don't make it, send it to us. Let us try it.
Send it to us, please. I will pay you $5.
Yes.
But yeah, Summer Freeze got first, and we're seeing the fruits of that labor come out in Summer Freeze.
And Pickle did get second, so I'm keeping my fingers crossed that the Pickle gets some sort of love.
Yeah, for sure.
All right.
And then next up we have Overdrive.
Yeah. Fuzzy's Brew.
Yep, Fuzzy's Brew. Fuzzy leaked it on the Do Drinker Discord in advance. Casey's exclusive. I think it released on Fountain first and then bottles later again, but it was during the month of June.
I think the window in between them releasing was smaller than the window between Purple Thunder Fountain and bottles, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. I mean, on my notes, they're in the same month, so
okay.
Yeah. They were like a month apart for Purple Thunder.
It's interesting for Overdrive. It's just described as citrus punch, but the label, you can see raspberry, mango, and lime on the label. However, Darn, I don't know your thoughts on this. I don't really taste lime at all, and I don't really taste mango at all in Overdrive.
I taste it a little bit, but I taste all of them, but just a little bit.
Yeah.
It's just homogenous. I taste more sugar than the actual flavors, which is why I'm not a huge fan of it.
I remember seeing people compare it to citrus cherry. And while I don't agree with it, I can see why people make the comparison, which is weird to say, but I actually didn't try Overdrive, and when we were planning this episode, I hadn't tried it yet, but I was able to get Overdrive. And I will say I like it. The bottles especially really do have that homogeneous taste of just fruit punch.
Yeah.
That you were just talking about. But I've got to say, like with Purple Thunder, I think Overdrive's fountain is better too. And I got lucky when I got Fountain Overdrive. The syrup had just been changed, so it was brand new right out of the box.
So you got
But
like optimal conditions.
Oh, optimal for sure. And it definitely, I'm trying to think of the best way to phrase it. Definitely, I could taste the lime and the mango a little bit more. Definitely, the fruit was more defined. I guess is a good way to say it.
Well,
But
if I ever get in range of a Casey's, I'll be sure to try it, but that's probably not happening anytime soon.
fingers crossed you get optimal conditions, because I'm sure if
Yeah.
the conditions are not optimal, it probably is about as good as the bottles.
Yeah, if
Which
the
is still good.
conditions are as good as all of my attempts to get Berry Monsoon, I won't be able to try it.
It's Overdrive is good. I don't hate it. I don't think I drove 30 minutes to get it before. I don't think I'd drive 30 minutes to get it again. If I'm being honest. I think Circle K got the better exclusive of the two of them.
Yeah, I do agree there. Speaking of Circle K exclusive, Canada gets the biggest W of the year because it got the double release. The year before, we got Baja Flash and Baja Punch in tall cans.
Yep.
As Circle K exclusives. And then this year, they were keeping the tradition going. Instead of Bajas, we got Purple Thunder. And out of absolutely fucking nowhere, we got Whiteout.
With a new design. Kind of.
With a new design, yeah. Although it was inspired by another one, I'm pretty sure. But
right,
still,
Whiteout,
Whiteout's been like getting harder to find in the United States. It's like regional, only independent bottlers make them these days.
Yeah.
And a lot of people were really jealous that we got Whiteout. Yeah. It yeah, this is the first time in a while that I think we've seen Whiteout cans in general.
Since I think 2019 or 2020 or so. Yeah. It's been a while. And the one thing I want to say just about that is it's cool and also very exciting how good Mountain Dew Canada is at keeping their things under wraps.
Oh,
like
yeah,
we
for
had
sure.
no idea that was coming, and then just boom, didn't we find out about it because someone took a picture of a sign?
Yeah, well, someone took a picture of a sticker on the door.
That's right.
It showed a tall can of the Purple Thunder and also Whiteout, which we had zero idea was coming. But then that also brings up, well, Canada had a democracy of its own. 4 flavors: Code Red, Voltage, Whiteout, and Supernova. There's a possibility that next year, or I mean this year, I guess 2023, we could see one of those coming out.
That would be awesome.
My money is on potentially Supernova coming to Canada, which I've never tried up to this point. And I'm very excited because you hype it up because it's your favorite flavor. Your name is Team Supernova.
And specifically, I have always gone on record saying that I think Canadian Supernova is better than American Supernova. It's very close, don't get me wrong.
It's not like Finland Supernova where it's a completely different flavor. They're both the same flavor, but it's just the execution slightly better.
Something about it, just Canadian Supernova was a little bit more smooth, and it was perfect. I would love to get my hands on some Canadian Supernova in 2023. God,
I'll be sure to hook you up.
Oh, yeah.
If that happens. Yep.
Oh.
Something that also happened was Maverick discontinued Fountain Pitch Black.
Oh, I was so sad about that. Oh my gosh. Didn't Was our notice of that getting discontinued when they tweeted that to me saying that it was gone?
I think so, yeah.
I remember what disappointed me the most about that was I got that tweet, and I live within the vicinity of probably 7 or 8 Mavericks. There's a lot of them out here,
Uh,
and it was gone at every single one of them.
wow.
So I didn't get to have like a final fountain pitch black. It was just gone.
Well, at least very soon you'll get to have the real deal.
True. I have always believed that Fountain Pitch Black did not do Pitch Black justice.
Yep. Not much in July. There was like one thing of significance in July, which was the Mountain Dew Energy Reddit poll.
Ooh, yeah, that's right.
Yeah, which was interesting because I guess Mountain Dew doesn't really do that many polls anymore.
True.
But then they did a surprise poll for which Mountain Dew themed Mountain Dew energy flavors should come out. And the options were Pitch Black, Voltage, Code Red, Voodoo, Major Melon, Typhoon, and Spark. That is actually in order of how they did.
The one that stands out to me the most is I just want to know how they would do voodoo as an energy flavor. Like, would it just be that year's voodoo in an
I mean, I'm
energy form? Like,
assuming.
like, would that change every year with it? Because like that could be cool, I guess. But like, I don't know. But
I don't
it
see
seems
it
like
being that successful.
it seems like it would be very hit or miss.
Yeah, especially because it change every year. Because I'm assuming it would release like alongside the Voodoos
Right, kind of like a Baja Blast energy situation.
or Pitch Black Energy, which got
True.
first place. And hey, it released. Well, it is releasing currently as of the
Right.
time of recording.
I would love to see, and I hope we get to see voltage energy. I think that would be good.
Absolutely, I am with you 100% there.
And even what Major Melon did pretty poor in that poll, didn't
Yeah, it got fifth place.
it? But we're still getting it.
Yep.
And even Code Red was on that poll, but at that time, I think we already knew it was coming, didn't we?
We did, but it was probably just like to gauge interest.
True.
Maybe if Code Red got last and Voltage got first, they would have done like Code Red instead, or like Major Melon or Spark.
Could be.
Yeah. And speaking of Spark, I don't know how else to mention this, but they are changing the name of Strawberry Melon Spark to Strawberry Melon Sharp, which is a dumb name. I don't like that name.
I hate it. The only thing that I can ascertain to make sense of that is maybe it means that we'll see Spark Energy at some point, and they want to avoid confusion between Strawberry Melon Spark and Spark Energy.
Yeah. Well,
That's the only way that I could see that making sense.
Yeah. At the very least, they're probably just putting it on the table
Yeah.
at all. But yeah, I guess not much else to say about that.
Yeah.
August, we see two things. First of all, Typhoon, Rip Bozo, got discontinued.
After 2 months of being on for sale, right?
Yeah, a 2-month sale. They just they had like 50,000 cases left. And they just like donated the rest of them.
Failure flavor.
This is so sad.
I can't believe Typhoon failed.
Yeah. Uh, and then they also released in Canada. This is not a W, in my opinion. Baja Gold
Why
in
couldn't you
August.
guys? Why couldn't you guys have gotten Mango Gem instead,
I don't know.
or Baja Flash again?
That would have been good. Like the year before, we didn't get Baja Flash in bottles. We actually got Baja Punch in bottles as well as cans. We got
Hmm.
them in bottles in August, which was odd to me.
Yeah,
I found that very strange.
that
It's a
is
little
weird.
bit less strange that we're just getting Baja Gold, but I was just very disappointed because I don't like Baja Gold.
Yeah.
And that was one of the 4 releases in Canada that year was Baja Gold. Yeah, and that was definitely the only real negative in Canada that happened that
Yeah.
that year.
It just makes me wonder, like, if it was oops, we sent that out too early, or if plans changed, because they do change.
Hmm.
It just makes me wonder what happened there. It could be something that's planned for this year and we just don't know.
Yeah, we generally don't get information on exclusives as fast, like as in advance as we do
Right.
for permanent. Well, not permanents, but just nationwide limited time only releases.
I do think it is safe to assume, and I think this will disappoint people, but I think that it is safe to assume that if we get bottles of Vibe, that it will remain exclusive to Which. I don't
Yeah,
think that Vibe will be coming to stores nationwide.
yeah, for sure. Because they sell bottles, right? Just
Yes, they do.
at which. So that
Yes.
makes total sense that they would sell the bottles there. And I
Which
might,
I it's disappointing on one hand, but on the other, it would make it more accessible for people like you, darn, that you could
yeah,
buy Vibe and not have it be fountain bottled.
yeah. Because then like the only way I could buy it right now, aside from flying to a which, would be to pay someone to fill up a cup, then pour it into a bottle. Who knows how sanitary that is?
And who knows how good the mix is?
Yeah, exactly. At least like with Vibe, at least like I could see the color. I could see, oh, that color's not right when I'm pouring it. And
Right.
then I could like just, oh, I'll just go to a different one.
But just with fountain bottling in general, there's so much that can go wrong to ruin that experience. So I think if they do sell it in bottles, that would make the experience a lot better for just everyone all around.
Yeah, for sure. Energy code red.
Yeah, energy. I have one of those right in front of me, right? Actually, I was so I actually went into Code Red Energy with low expectations, having not liked Baja Blast Energy. We disagreed on Baja Blast Energy, and I think we're going to disagree again here because
Yep.
I liked Code Red Energy a lot more than Baja Blast Energy, and I think it's currently my favorite flavor of Mountain Dew Energy.
Hmm. Yeah, because I actually prefer Baja Blast Energy over Code Red Energy for the exact same reason why I don't like Code Red Zero Sugar.
Not
It basically
syrupy enough.
transfers over to the energy. At least to me, Code Red Zero Sugar just tastes like Code Red Energy without the energy.
That's fair. That is
Like, you
definitely
know,
fair.
same reason I don't like it, it doesn't have that candy taste that I like about Code Red.
So it's not as Code Red to you, basically.
Yeah,
It's just more stereotypical cherry.
exactly. It's like cherry lime lift without the lime.
Hmm.
And even then, there wasn't a lot of lime there. But
I will say that when I say that Code Red Energy is my favorite flavor, that's not saying very much.
mm,
I don't love it. I never realized that the bottom of the can of Code Red Energy has like part of the Mountain Dew logo chopped off.
Yeah, I noticed that.
That's really weird. I mean, it's
I don't
a
know.
nice little aesthetic, but I just never noticed that before.
Huh.
But yeah, I don't hate it. I I don't know that I'm gonna buy a ton of it. It is coming back this year. I don't know that I'm
Yeah,
gonna buy a ton of it, but it is a flavor.
it sure is.
It is one of the flavors of all time.
Yeah. I'd rather just drink peach mango Dawn over Code Red Energy.
Rip.
Rip Peach Mango Dawn. This is so sad. Peach Mango Dawn is fucking dead.
As well as
Orange Breeze and Tropical Sunrise. I
that's
think.
right. That's right.
At least if you don't know, that's like been something that we've been told is that they're slimming down the energy lineup.
Basically,
3 of them are going away.
yep, just to leave 3 and then to have 1 rotating LTO, which I assume will continue to be the flavor inspired
Yeah.
LTOs.
Yeah. They probably did pretty well, I'm guessing.
They must have, since they continue to do them.
They're going more into them because they only
yeah.
did 2 of them last year, and they're doing 4 of them this year.
And I wouldn't be surprised if that trend continues. I'm excited for it, even though I don't particularly love the energy line. I think it's a good direction for them to go with it.
That's true. Speaking of energy drinks, here's one that came out of nowhere. Game Fuel Zero Raspberry Lemonade returned from the dead.
Out of nowhere, too. It was
Yeah.
funny because around the time that was posted back online, a lot of people were speculating that line was going to be discontinued. And here comes the Zero out of nowhere.
Yep.
I still don't know what that means for that line itself, but I don't think it's as dead as we thought it was.
Yep. So anyway, the last significant event of September, the infamous 12, the 12th, which was a meme on the Dew Drinker Discord, basically referring to the Treasures of Baja Islands, which was like the Treasures of Baja Island was like a sweepstakes for the Baja event, and in September they shipped out the reward, which was a bunch of cases of Baja Deep Dive.
Which I do think I saw a handful of people say they didn't win, but it really seems like basically everyone that entered won a case.
Yeah. I'm not sure what happened there. Maybe it was like an issue with the shipping address, because I'm pretty sure like at least 99% of people who said they entered won.
I know there were some people that made like 8 or 9 accounts and won on all of them. I made 2.
Yeah.
And even my second account, I had the case sent to my parents' house in Ohio. Speaking of that, I went to Ohio and all of the cans in that case were smashed up, and I'm really mad about it.
Oh, no.
But yeah, like it seems like basically everyone won. I guess we could talk about our thoughts on Baja Deep Dive while we're talking about the promotion.
I mean, yeah. So looking at the can, I actually have a can on me right now.
Oh, nice.
At the bottom of it, the bottom front, there is a little bottle that says PB on it.
Yep.
And everyone speculated that it was a reference to what the flavor is, because it was mystery flavored dew with natural and artificial flavor. And people were like, oh, does that mean it's pitch black? It's not pitch black. I mean, people still die on that hill. Some people even, I saw someone mixing like a Baja Blast Freeze and pitch black, and they said, yep, that's the same thing. And I mixed pitch black and Baja Blast, and I disagree.
My other beef with that, no offense to the person that posted that, I don't even think the Baja Blast Freeze and Baja Blast they're very similar, but I feel like if you wanted to get the comparison, you should have mixed Fountain Baja Blast with
I think
Pitch
they were
Black.
out.
Oh, still.
Yeah.
I saw a lot of people, like you were just saying, claiming that it is Baja Blast mixed with Pitch Black. But even a good friend of mine, you may know as Pitch Black fans on Twitter, that may have tweeted Mountain Dew 450 days in a row. Even that account, he tried mixing Pitch Black and Baja Blast, and he said, I can't find a ratio of this that recreates Baja Deep Dive.
Yeah.
So for me, I could never, even before I opened my first can of Baja Deep Dive, I told myself, and I usually don't like to do this to make myself to influence my taste buds, but I went to open it and I was like, all right, cool, we're about to try some Pitch Black and Baja Blast mixed. Popped it open, and I remember drinking it and being like, this is just enhanced Baja Blast.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think it's bad. Don't get me wrong, it is a tasty flavor, but I don't taste any Pitch Black in it.
Yeah. I mean, for me, it like Baja Blast and Pitch Black mixed kind of has like a chalky aftertaste, which Deep
Yeah.
Dive kind of also has. That's like the only similarity, I'd say.
I will say, I guess it's worth mentioning. Back during Decision in 2016, Mountain Dew had actually sent me a cup. It's like split down the middle, and half of the cup has the Pitch Black artwork, and half of it has the Baja Blast artwork. So I had tried back in 2016 Pitch Black and Baja Blast mixed. So I would just think that if Deep Dive was Pitch Black and Baja Blast mixed, that with as many times as I enjoyed that mixture back in 2016, I would think I would have gotten some level of nostalgia for that.
Hmm.
Just because of how powerful nostalgia can be. And it tasted like something I've never had before. And no level of
Yeah.
nostalgia or anything. To me, I get blueberry from Baja Deep Dive. And I'm not
Yeah.
angry about that. And
No,
even you're still looking at your can. It almost looks like the little air bubbles could be blueberries.
that's true. Although there's a lot going on. There's like a blackberry looking fish. There's a pineapple scuba diver. There's a cherry hook. There's a lot of fruits on here.
Yeah. The most interesting thing, and I think it is just another hint to Baja or to Pitch Black returning and not a hint to the flavor, there is the eyes in the
Oh
top
yeah.
that are the eyes of the black hole in Pitch Black's label, but I don't think that that's a hint of the flavor. I think that's just a reference of what's to
Yeah.
come.
Foreshadowing.
Yes.
I will say that I think I've made a pretty decent recreation of it. Instead of using pitch black, use blue, like the berry burst game fuel instead.
That does sound very tasty.
Yeah. That mixed with Baja Blast, I'd say makes a more accurate recreation than just pitch black and Baja Blast. I think I forgot to mention Voodoo released in September.
Well, that's right. It
Yeah.
sure did.
Yep. The fourth installment in the Voodoo series.
I will say for Voodoo, and my opinion has since changed. We talked about Ghost of Voodoo past a little bit, so I won't even get super far into it. But going into Voodoo last year, I was skeptical just because of how my opinions of the three flavors before it, but I was really impressed with this year's or last year's voodoo flavor. It was
Yeah.
very radically different in a good way.
I feel like it kind of has a similar vibe to the other voodoos, but they do it in a different way
Definitely.
because it's sour.
It is not too sour, I don't think, but it does have a nice sour flavor.
Yeah.
It is funny to me how many people said that it was too sour. That is part of the reason why I think we will never see Pitch Black 2 again. If
Yeah.
they think Voodoo 4 is sour, Pitch Black 2 was sour.
Wish I could try it though. Actually, I remember like 2 years ago, I made a tier list of flavors that I have never tried just for the fun of it. And I put Pitch Black 2 at the bottom because, first of all, grape, second of all, sour. But now that I'm more interested in sour drinks, now that I'm accustomed to Spark and Voodoo,
You'd be more open to giving it a try.
and especially since now that I've tried Pitch Black actually,
Yeah.
and I've been drinking like one a day. It's good.
I'm a little bit upset that I don't even have it yet. And
Are you
you like
jealous?
I am. You found it the day that the news broke that it was going to be releasing in Canada, didn't you?
Yeah. I
That
had zero idea it was actually coming. I was actually pessimistic about it coming to Canada because I thought Honeydew was going to be the early release.
that is just so awesome that you found the news that it was coming and then you found it the same day.
Yeah, I was the
That is
first one to
so
find it
exciting.
as far as I'm aware.
That is so exciting.
Yep.
But yeah, in terms of Voodoo 4, I wouldn't say it's my favorite Voodoo of all time, but it's up there, and I think it signals a promising future for the line of Voodoo.
Yeah. I really hope Voodoo 5 really shakes it up in a completely new way.
I don't think that the Voodoo line is going to go anywhere. I know there's a lot of people that are vehemently against the Voodoo line and hate it and wish it would go away. And I don't think it's going to, partially
No.
because of how marketable Voodoo Grim is and their
Yeah.
Twitter account and all of the promotions associated with it. But
Yeah.
everyone loves a mystery flavor.
You see that comic of Voodoo of like Voodoo Grim lore? That was a really good
Yes.
comic.
Yes. Just
Oh,
there's so much they can do with the Voodoo line. I will go on record saying that I think it will get closer to Voodoo 10 than Voodoo 5 before they stop it. I'm not saying they'll get to 10, but I think it'll be closer to 10 than 5 when they decide to stop it.
well, I'll see you in 20 years when we get Voodoo 20.
Yeah.
Voodoo 25.
Also, I just got to call out Mountain Dew for this real quick. I'm a little bit annoyed that the flavor reveal of Voodoo 4 was sour candy flavor.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have minded them calling it sour candy flavor if they wouldn't have literally hidden the silhouette of the Sour Patch Kid on the label in two different spots.
Yeah. And like, well, I don't know. For me, it's just like sour candy flavor. Like that could mean that's such an open-ended name.
Yeah.
Because like everyone knew it was sour. We knew it was sour before it released because we could
Yeah.
see the ingredients list. They had like a certain type of acid on it in it.
For me, though, it did taste very much Sour Patch Kids. I didn't think they were going to go with the brand name, but man, it tasted like Sour Patch Kids. And then we saw the silhouette, and it was just so weird.
Yeah, for sure. All right. The next one is, well, I guess we could just talk about. Well, I already talked about Ghosts of Voodoo, so we could talk about Fruit Quake in November.
Yes. Fruit Quake.
Yep.
Fruit Quake, with a blast of artificial fruit cake flavor.
Yep. My headphones are having issues, so I lost a little bit of your audio, but I think I'm back. Yeah, fruit cake. Very clever name.
One thing that disappointed me about Fruit Quake, not with the flavor itself, but just with the community. I saw it with Fruit Quake. I'm already seeing it with Cobra Cane. Just we get the news about these flavors, and people just assume that they're gonna be nasty before they even try it. Like,
Yeah.
I try really hard not to go into new flavors with preconceived notions because I don't want it to have a negative impact on my experience. And I just think, especially with a flavor like this, but just in general, Mountain Dew is so good at nailing flavors like this. And I feel like it's better to not. I know sometimes it's hard, but to try to go into all of these weird flavors with an open mind, instead of reading that one review that said it tastes like a Michael's store smells, because that's a lie. I remember that was the very first review we saw of Fruit Quake, and I couldn't disagree more with that.
Yeah.
I even took a bottle into a Michael's store and drank it, and I was like, yeah, there's no comparison here.
I've never been to a Michael's store, I don't think. So I couldn't really talk about that. But I don't think that sounds right.
The best way I could describe to you how Michael's smells is like, how like stereotypical Christmas candles smell like just the pine tree,
Oh yeah. I've been
kind of
to
like
the
kind of like
Bath and
that.
Body Works.
Kind of like that, but just with a mix of some other like craft materials, like a hint of like wood and I don't get fruit quake tasting like that. But what are your thoughts on fruit quake itself?
I think it's very good. I've never actually had fruit cake, but it's like kind of cherry, spices, some other fruits, I guess.
Yeah.
It's just very fruity. It's a very fruity, berry forward Mountain Dew, and I think that's very good.
I agree with you, and I do think it has like a nice little hint of spice to it, and it's not too much at all, but I think it's a nice compliment to the fruit flavor.
Yeah.
I had not had fruit cake before, but then Collins Street Bakery hooked me up with a fruit cake and some little petite bites and some other goodies. And not only was it delicious, but also being able to just compare fruit quake with fruit cake. They definitely did a good job at nailing the fruitcake flavor. I don't know that Fruit Quake will ever come back, but I wouldn't be mad if it did. I enjoyed it.
Yeah. I will say I think my favorite Christmas flavor is still got to be gingerbread snapped. There was a lot of hate for that. I think there was more hate for gingerbread snapped last year. I mean, the year before than there was for Fruit Quake.
I did see some hate for Fruit Quake this year, but a lot of times I would see someone trying to hate on it and more people saying, I like it, whereas basically everyone hated on Snapped.
And then the funny thing is, like, whenever I see gingerbread snapped brought up in conversations today, people are praising it.
Yep. Give it a couple of years and people will be asking for it back.
Yep. I mean, I'm already asking for it back. I think it was great. I was one of the few supporters of it back in the day.
Yeah, I enjoyed it as well.
Yeah.
And I enjoy mixing it with Flamin Hot.
Yeah.
The one thing I will say about Fruit Quake is Part of the reason I like it is for the same reason I like Merry Mashup, in that it has that nice stereotypical holiday punch feel to it.
That makes sense.
And while I like Merry Mashup, I think, it got 3 years in a row. I don't feel like I want it back as much as basically every other person that is a fan of Merry Mashup wants it back.
Yeah, I
You
think it's a
know,
bit overrated.
Snapped released last year and people were mad it wasn't Merry Mashup. Fruit Quake released in 20 oh, I said last year and I meant 2021. Whoops. Fruit Quake released last year and people were mad that it wasn't Merry Mashup. And now Cobra Kane is releasing this year and people are mad it's not Merry Mashup. Like,
Yep.
if it eventually came back, I wouldn't be mad about it, but I would rather them continue doing all these weird new awesome flavors instead.
Yep. Yeah, I'm really excited for Cobra Kane. I think it's going to be great.
I agree, especially now that we know it's berry mint, right? It's not just mint.
Yeah. Yeah, I was kind of skeptical because I was like, well, if it's just mint, where's the flavor going to be,
Yeah.
So it's going to be more like the feeling of mint, but I don't know. I feel like there needs to be more to it. But now that we know it's berry,
I think it'll be good.
specifically strawberry, possibly.
Yeah. That's going to be...
I have high hopes for it.
That's going to be tasty. Was that the last flavor of 2022? Hey, Team Supernova podcast listeners. You've got Tebow in editing. Thank you for listening to this episode of the podcast. It ended up running a little bit longer than we thought it was going to. So instead of cutting a bunch of stuff out, what we decided we're going to do is we're going to release this episode in 2 different parts. So you just listened to part 1, where we talked about all of the releases of 2022, and in the next episode we're going to talk about our favorite flavors of 2022, as well as what you can look forward to in 2023. There's also a little bit of news that's happened just since we've recorded the last episode that we'll catch you up on as well, so be sure to keep it tuned here with the Team Supernova podcast. We'll talk at you real soon. Thanks for listening.